Hello everyone, in this lecture I'm going to give you a guided tour of the incredible Alibaba.com. I thought I'd start with pointing out a few key things about Alibaba just to give you an idea of the size of it and just how established it is. I pulled these from Wikipedia, that's my information source. Some people like Wikipedia, others don't, but I think it's pretty reliable on this front anyway. Alibaba.com is the world's largest online business-to-business trading platform for small businesses. The company's English language portal, Alibaba.com, handles sales between importers and exporters from more than 240 countries and regions. Now, this last fact's the biggest. In July 2017, Alibaba's market cap rose to 389 billion US dollars. That is huge. That is ridiculous. That is, if there was Alibaba and Amazon were two fish in the sea, Alibaba would eat Amazon and then start demanding his main course. I'm not joking. There's a huge website making a massive amount of money. Anyway, what we'll do is we'll go over to Alibaba now and I'll show you around the homepage and some of the other pages and services they provide. Okay, here we are on Alibaba's homepage. Now, as you can see, there is a lot of products and selections to go through here. So I'll start from the top and work my way across and down. At the top menu here, we've got sourcing solutions. Now, some of the stuff here we'll be using throughout the courses in SourceShipSell, but in general, a lot of this we probably won't be using because we're pretty resourceful, so we'll probably be using our own ways and techniques. But some of the good things here, the top selected suppliers. Suppliers by regions, if you want to source by regions, and the exhibitor showcase. I'm not too sure what this is. It's if there's like large exhibitions going on and exhibitors are showcasing products on there, you can go and have a look at those exhibitions through this tab. For sourcing, they have a source menu here. You can submit a request for quotation, an RFQ. You can get instant quotes. There's a request for quotation sourcing tool, and an earn and refer kind of thing going on there. We won't be using any of these. I don't cover any of these in these courses because I don't use them myself. But you can go through them. You can submit requests for quotations. One of the problems I find with Alibaba when doing this and letting them know what you're looking for in general is your inbox will get swamped with all kinds of factories trying to sell you all kinds of stuff, and I just don't see the benefit of it. But to be fair, I've not used it recently, so they might have improved things. But when I was asking for quotes in my early days, it was just ridiculous. The inbox was full. I was getting all kinds of offers for all kinds of rubbish. So yeah, I don't use that no more. But if you want to give it a try, feel free. In the services and memberships, we have the trade assurance. We will be going into that in detail in another lecture. I use that extensively. Probably on every purchase I make on Alibaba now, I like to have trade insurance involved. They also have a logistics service. I've personally not used the logistics service and have had mixed reviews on it. If we go onto the page and have a look. You can add in your departure ports from where your factory is departing from, get the details from your factory when you make your product, when you make your orders, put all that in there, and they will give you a fast, reliable and economical service, so they say. So yeah, it's something that maybe you could try and see what prices they come back with, but I personally think there's other ways to go, which we will cover in our courses as well. Okay, so for finding products on Alibaba, they give you two main options here, well three. You can search directly for your product, and there's also products, suppliers or quotes. So this is what you can filter your search down with. You also have the categories, which we'll go into in just a second, and you can also search by market. So say if you're selling in the niche of home and garden, you can click on that and it will bring up all of the suppliers who sell home and garden. So if we go back up to the categories here, you can see that it is divided up into certain niches. But if we go down to the all categories tab at the bottom here and click that, it will give you a good illustration of just how big Alibaba is as a website and as a place to buy stuff and do your business on. As you can see, if I start scrolling down here, you can just see how many categories there are in Alibaba. It's pretty extensive. But if we use the home and garden section or category here, for example, you will see Home and Garden, and then you will see this number next to it. Now this number is the number of listings that Alibaba has up at this current time in Home and Garden. Now that's a huge number right there. If we move further up, you will see in beauty and personal care another, well, every single number here is just absolutely enormous. There is an unbelievably huge amount of listings for every type of product that you could possibly conceive. You can source here on Alibaba. I do recommend other websites that's a source from, and it's not because they have more or better products. It's because of the situations or the circumstances you're in as a seller. Because Alibaba more caters for an established seller, I'd say. Maybe not so. I mean, it is changing, so for new starters can get involved with Alibaba, but if you're thinking, I'm not sure whether Alibaba will have my product, well, you have probably niched down way too far, my friend, because if they don't have it here, then it just doesn't exist, and you need to be doing a product creation. Okay, if we go back to the home page, I'm just going to pick a product here from the home page to show the listings. So here we are on a product page, and we have a 500 milliliter hammered copper drinking cup. Underneath that, we have the FOB reference, and you can get the latest price if you click there. That will take you through to the factory communication thing. Underneath that, we have the price. Take this as a rough guide. Obviously, the MOQ, this is the minimum order quantity. So the minimum you can order is 1 piece, which is not bad because you can't really get any more minimum than that. And the pricing here is $1 a piece, or they'll go down to 1 cent a piece. I suppose if you offer to buy like 10,000 or whatever, they'll be putting those kind of prices your way. These prices are obviously subject to change. I mean, this isn't a great example, but you'll go to some other products and it will show like a pair of slippers or something, and it'll be like $50 here or something. I don't think some factories don't really take into consideration what buyers are looking for when they look at that price. I think they just slap in a price, and it can be quite off-putting at times, but don't be put off by this price. If you do see a product you like and you think, what, $50 each for a low quantity, you can negotiate them down, and they'll probably have a lower price for you upon communication. Okay, underneath that is their supplyability. They say they can provide 50,000 pieces a month of this, and their port of where they'll be shipping from. So if you want to use that in your own shipping calculations, or if you're going to use an external shipping agent. Contact supplier or start your order, speak for themselves really. You can chat now as well. Often there's an instant chat thing, but it depends where you live in the world. Sometimes they're online, and this highlights blue, so then it shows that they're online and you can send them a quick chat. Normally factories of a good stature will be replying to you within 12 hours anyway. Place a sample order. I'm not really sure why you would need that tab. If you're going to start an order or contact the supplier, you could do that either way. Just ask them for a sample, but use the sample tab if you want. Seller support, they support trade assurance. This is an important tab. If a supplier these days now, if they're not doing trade assurance, I wouldn't say it will put me off completely, but I would be asking for trade assurance further down the transaction line. If not trade assurance, then at the very least PayPal. Underneath here are their payment options, and then we go down to the meat of the listing. At the top here though, you have the company profile. This shows the company, some pictures of them and their workings, their factory, their machinery, and also figures, their total annual revenue. Here it's 5 to 10 million, and other products that they're selling and other bits and pieces. You can kind of have a look through here to gauge a factory's reputation, because you also get trading companies as well, and obviously they're not going to have pictures of machinery and that unless they're lying to you, and if they're lying to you, then you don't want to do business with them anyway. The product activity here, there's quite a lot of activity for this product. It's got a quite healthy graph, I'd say, probably because it's on the front page of Alibaba's homepage. It's probably getting a lot of attention. It's got a whole load of details here, excuse me. Net weight's obviously an interesting one, and then it goes into further detail down here, plus some very nice product images as well. Now, if you are starting, if you say you are thinking of getting into the hammered coppered mug, easy for you to say, the hammered coppered mug market, then you know, these images are actually very impressive. They're quite nice. So when starting your listing, you could ask the factory to send you these images, and without the watermark on it, obviously, and you could probably use them in your Amazon listing to start off with before you go and get your own ones and add to these. Moving up the top here, we have the name of the factory again, where the country they're based, their transaction level. Now, the transaction level is quite an interesting figure. If you click through here onto it, it will give you details of what exactly these little diamonds mean. So here's the transaction level. The level is based on accumulated score awarded for supplier's transaction amount on Alibaba. The greater the transaction volume, the higher the score will be awarded. The higher the score, the higher the level will be awarded. So they repeat themselves there a little bit. So they've got a score here of between 30 and 100,000 transactions that have been successful, and there's been no problem. So that's pretty decent. That's quite a good score to have. So you can look at this. I mean, obviously, if you see a factory with 5 diamonds here, they're selling big, so they're doing very well, and they're not only are they selling, but they're selling well. There's no problems, there's no hiccups. So it's good to see these diamonds. To have those kind of high numbers, 5-figure and 6-figure numbers, is very impressive. So keep an eye out for that. Underneath that is the name of the factory and the country. It also has the gold supplier thing here. Now, I used to put a lot of weight into this gold supplier thing, but I've recently learned that a factory will pay to be a gold supplier with Alibaba. So if you just pay money and you get given the status of gold supplier. So I don't see the point in it. It's kind of a bit false. I suppose you have to have a certain criteria there to live up to, but if you're paying for it, then you know how stringent is that criteria, I have to say, you know. So yeah, I probably focus more on the transaction level thing. There would be more something to gauge how reliable a factory is. Underneath here is the supplier assessments. That is to state that someone from Alibaba has been to this guy's factory or these guys' factory and had a look round and verified that this place is what they're saying it is. So if you look on the company profile, and they're saying they're a factory, they've got these machines, they've got a big staff, they're turning over 10 million a year. The supplier assessments is someone from Alibaba has been there and verified that. So that's worth knowing as well. The transactions here, this is the transactions in the last 6 months. They say they've had the last 6 months, they've had 6 transactions equating to over $70,000 worth of goods. So further down the listing here, like we said, you get all the images and everything else, and up the top here you get the product processes, packing, shipping, and a load of other details you can click through and have a look at as well. So this is the basic of a product listing, and where you go from here is you start your order or you contact the supplier, which is what I recommend. Find out more details. Even just with first contact, you can get a gauge on how good or how reliable they'll be. If you contact them and they don't reply to you for 2 weeks, then that's when they're vying for your business, and it's taking them 2 weeks to reply to you. What's it going to be like when they have your business and they have your money? So it's little things like that, but we'll go into that a lot more throughout the course and throughout this introduction to Alibaba and the overview I'm going to give you in the next few lectures. So that was basically it, guys. I hope you found this lecture useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.